This is the MD-500, and it is one of the world's most beloved helicopters. And as a big helicopter enthusiast myself, I wanted to see what all the hype was about. So, myself and a bunch of my friends headed down to the MD headquarters in Mesa, Arizona to find out just exactly why everyone loves these helicopters so much.
Pretty cool. Now I know why people love them. Ladies and gentlemen, what you see here is a giraffe in the wild.
Wild, dude.
Woo! I get a call from Cletus probably once a week, just like a real excited, hey, and then he drops some bomb on me of something he's excited about. And it's usually just like a cool new airplane or something he discovered. But this call was like, hey man, you should come to Arizona and do the MD factory training course with us. And now we're here and we're about to spend a whole week flying MD helicopters.
5 days of hardcore training. You know, we're gonna be doing straight up engine off in the air landings, which normally we don't train for that stuff. You and I fly twin engine helicopters a lot, so we don't get to do that. Here, we'll be straight up turning the engine off and making a full complete landing without ever turning the engine back on. It'll just go to idle. And that's pretty intense training as far as helicopters go. It's where a lot of people screw up and crash. And these guys train at the highest level, so.
We're gonna do some high level training thanks to old Pleater here. It's also kind of like a test drive week, see what we think of them and understand why the world loves these things so much, because it is the most loved helicopter in the world.
I'm gonna get an MD, so worst case, we can share.
At least we got one.
We kind of have this whole like toy sharing program we're getting going.
So with that said, MD Helicopters Factory Training Course, let's go.
First item of business at MD was to go on a tour of the factory. They showed us how these helicopters are 100% hand-built right here in the USA. And they even showed us some helicopters that they're building brand new for a foreign military.
Like, think about that. This is going to be rigged to kill. It's wild, man.
It is wild. Throughout class, we'll talk to you about the safety features. This pretty much has like a built-in roll cage on it, an A-frame Jeep design that they built into the safety of it, the center beam, how the struts, everything works. But it starts over here, gets pushed in, you get the lower fuselage built in where they build the fuel tanks. They start with the frame, and then they start assembling engine, electronics, and everything down the line a little bit more. So you have your battery compartment over here, pilots sit here, and then fuel tanks run in between the center beam here. There's a crossover tube, one electronic pump that pumps fuel into the engine.
How many gallons?
64. Your APU even run on 64 guys? That little transmission pushes everything on this helicopter.
It's one piece, you see that?
Everything in here is so small.
Blackhawk version of this, you would need a crane.
This version of this is you sitting in the fetal position.
Well, plus the Blackhawk has several tail rotor gearboxes to get to the actual tail rotor. This one's just one drive shaft and a gearbox.
Engine sits down there kind of at like a 45-degree angle, and then it spits the transmission drive line up here into the transmission, and then there's one that goes out.
Oh wait.
Now the reason why the MD-500 is so popular is because it's a very high-performance helicopter. In fact, a lot of people view them as the Ferrari of helicopters. For our training this week, MD has assigned us 2 different instructors, CJ and Parker. These are both very experienced MD pilots that know these helicopters inside and out. This is CJ. He's one of the primary test pilots, meaning he's one of the first guys to fly every single new helicopter that comes off the assembly line.
The rotor system's not balanced, so it could just fly off, you know?
Oh yeah.
But we have a series of procedures that we follow. It's everything is written to the T of what to do. So
it'll take about a week and a half to get them all trimmed up. Once we start flying them, before they're finished and get the certificate of airworthiness.
Oh, look at the engines on the crane.
After showing us how the helicopter airframes are built, they took us over to show us the brand new Rolls-Royce C-30 engines that are sitting on the pallets ready to be installed in these new helicopters.
So here back, you're looking at like 185 for just the parts. For just the parts inside.
I have trouble for giving numbers before I don't give numbers.
Like if you're pedaling a bicycle, right? You pedal forward, you drive the wheel forward, but if you let off, your back wheel will just coast. So same thing with this. While the engine's driving it, it's turning the rotors. But if the engine immediately fails, the rotors can just continue to freewheel. And the engine, even if it's locked up, the rotor can just freewheel, allowing you to initiate an auto rotation, keep the blade spinning, and then hopefully make a safe landing. Car engine, you know, you put it in, whatever, it can make 600 horsepower for a 10-second stint, and then its RPMs go back down to 2,000 RPM while you're cruising along. So this thing's running at about 50,000 RPM, and the cycle on having an engine like this overhauled is a couple thousand hours, but it's running at 50,000 RPM its whole life. Once you turn this thing up and go flying, it's spinning at 50,000 RPM, making 600 horsepower for however many hours you're then in the air. So it's not like a car engine where it's just get these little spurts of power. This thing's making almost full power the entire time it's running, and it can do that for thousands of hours before it actually has to go in and be overhauled.
So once we wrapped up the factory tour and saw how these machines are built, we headed over to another room to start our ground school.
Just two-wheel that thing? I'll weld it.
We're out.
I feel better knowing this isn't somebody's personal bike now. This is like the
You get the drag race.
All right, so we're here day one with training with MD helicopters, and day one is just sitting in a classroom, basically kind of giving us a prep course for what we're going to be flying this week. We can't go up in the air and start, doing maneuvers until we know what maneuvers we're going to do. So we're covering all that on the ground. However, Diesel Dave is in a different program today since he doesn't have his license yet. He has a student certificate. So basically, what's going to happen is he's going to go up right now and do the training that we're going to do all week long. He's going to do it in an hour or two. Dave's actually a really good pilot. I just wish he would take the time to finish his training.
How you feeling? Excited, pumped, glad to be out of class. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I got a surprise for you. I know these are a little small.
Yeah.
They're not the 500s, not really your size.
Okay.
You like massive helicopter.
Yeah.
It's like a little something coming for you.
You got a Black Hawk?
No. It's like a mini Black Hawk.
You have another helicopter
Got to
coming.
come in here so you can fly in it. I'm gonna make you a believer in this.
God, you are just, this man just keeps on giving. You'll never find anybody who is more passionate about aviation in general than Mr. Giraffe right there. I think it's just from living his life with his head so high in the sky. He loves it. Dave's gonna head up, they're gonna do some training. We're gonna stand here and watch the helicopter start, because anytime you hear a helicopter, you stop what you're doing and you look at that helicopter.
It's been a minute since I've been in one of these MD-500 helicopters, and this has got to be the smoothest, most comfortable helicopter I've ever gotten to fly. I've hovered a few helicopters and it's usually pretty shaky. This one just seemed, it was like immediately part of my body. Every movement I made, it made with me, and I could actually fly better than I feel like I've ever flown. He's like, give her some turns. So we would do a bank turn. He's like, no, bank it harder. And you basically pull a power turn through the sky. It feels like you're not moving forward at all, but just doing a straight U-turn. And the helicopter loved it. Had all the power in the world just to power through. You could feel the G's of your butt sitting down in the seat. It was one of the most spectacular flights of my life. We did some of the most technical flying I have ever done. We did some pinnacle landings. We did some auto rotations. I learned a lot from Dennis here. This is an awesome pilot. Someday, I want to be like him.
To finish off day one, we walked out to check out the MD-500 that we would be doing our training in all week, so that we could learn all about the pre-flight checks that we needed to do the next day in order to start flying.
You know it's easier to get your license than it is to get your mechanic's license? Dave can't figure out how to put this oil cap on. I took it off.
Checking the integrity.
All right, my turn. You've had your minute. You've had your minute.
Great.
You gotta turn it and push down.
Good job, dude.
All right, now the fun begins. The MD-902 Explorer just showed up. These are guys from Brim Aviation. They're buddies of Cletus, and he called them up. Heavy D, take this thing for a ride. So I gotta fly this bad boy, I think.
I'm going to tell you something. George Martinez.
George, Dave
Yeah,
Sparks.
nice to meet you. How's it going, man?
Good to meet you, man.
This is the MD-902. One thing that's very unique to MD helicopters is the optional NOTAR system. This means that there's no traditional tail rotor. The main advantage of this is the fact that it doesn't have an exposed tail rotor blade, which can get caught on terrain and, even worse, people. Instead, it uses a ducted fan system to create the thrust, which allows the helicopter to control its yaw left and right. I'm so pumped that the guys over at Brim Aviation are going to allow us to go up for a rip in their MD-902 to check out the canyons and some of the local scenery.
These seats are so comfortable.
This isn't part of the training, but it's a great way to get us excited for the rest of the week.
That's a different experience. It's like very calm.
What do you think of the NOTAR?
It felt pretty crisp.
Everyone's told you NOTAR kind of sucks. What do you think now?
I mean, I didn't go to altitude really, but
Yeah,
from what I
that's
felt,
true.
it's freaking sick. It flies kind of like a minivan. Back seats had good visibility.
Why are you testing them out? You're never gonna sit back there.
There's leg room for days, though. Do me a favor and check out Brim Aviation. They were nice enough to show up and show us this helicopter that we could show you guys and obviously make a cooler video. So if you make friends in the helicopter world, you got friends kind of all over the place. Successful first day.
I think a lot of people get nervousness confused with excitement. I often find myself more excited than nervous, but I confuse it with nervousness. I'm very excited. And I go through all of life like that. Sometimes you think you're scared, you're just excited. So dive in, find things you love, and go after them. It's things like this, man. It makes you feel free and alive. Makes you enjoy life. Well, I'm really just had an absolute blast.
They're so smooth.
Man, getting to land on them little rocks out there, bro.
Yeah, the terrain by itself is so cool.
I felt way too comfortable. From the moment I lifted off, I never felt discomfort once.
After Roman finished his flight, I went up for my very first training flight of the week, which wrapped up day number 2.
Nice. That's beautiful.
The next morning, we were right back at it with more ground training, and we all got the chance to do our first hold down, engine off, auto rotation landings.
Okay, that was my first time ever doing an auto to the ground, full down auto. Being up there, it's like you're so thankful to have somebody so experienced right beside you because you know you're good. Real life situation, dude, and it's all in your hands and you got your family in the helicopter. Heart's gonna start beating, bro. So I'm glad to be here, getting that experience, getting the time in so that ever really happened. You know, I have it under my belt to at least attempt it properly. Get it to the ground and everybody walks away. That would just be, that's why we're here.
Yesterday was kind of having fun, technically, you know, just getting used to the helicopter. Today's more about finesse. When we're up doing the autos, the smoother you could be. And the way I describe it, I should be able to have a cup of coffee in my hand and not spill it. 3, 2, 1, so we'll do decel. Engine's coming off. And look, I'm still coming back. Nothing changes. Actually, I'm gonna have to slow it down way more. Get a little bit of airspeed back. Now, don't hold on. Because if I do it right, everything should just be nice.
901 Mike, ground.
Your set downs are harder than that.
Yeah. Per usual, everyone is doing it this way. He's going to be the odd man doing it this way now.
Now start a nice slow decel, a little bit more. Now gentle forward and gentle up. And this is all you. Just to, if you think that I'm pushing on the controls, I just showed the camera and you, it's all you.
Yeah, my hat's gone.
Feel yourself get sucked back in the seat in this flare. In 3, 2, 1, flare, more. Gentle forward and hold. There you go. And we're gonna smooth that bottom side out just a little bit. You still were pulling up as you were pushing forward.
So ideally you want to be just leveling as it's coming onto the ground and zeroing everything out.
I've seen him do 2 so far, and they are so hot and so fast. I don't know how far you're supposed to, but he seems like he skids really far.
I need not normal Dave aggressive. You're here right now. This is where you normally are. I need you like here. You feel you getting sucked back into it. Gentle forward. Now just there you go. Good job.
That was a really nice landing.
1 out of 10. What would you rate that one?
About a 7.
So a long skid, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Depends on where I'm landing. Let's say I'm going into a Walgreens parking lot. I don't want a lot of ground run, right? But let's say I lose an engine and the only thing down there's a freeway.
Yeah.
I might want to touch down at the same speed as the cars. So there's always that decision on how much speed do I need. Right. You know, if I'm going into a muddy field or something, or into the trees, I want to zero it out.
today?
Baby.
You just told me yesterday about the sports cars. This is the last conversation we had, dude. Yeah, sports cars really ain't my thing, dude.
That is true. It's awesome. That helicopter autos really, really well. You think it's gonna be like, you know, nerve-wracking, and then it's just not. Just mellow, just a breeze. We're at the Porsche dealership. Don't know how this happened, but we're currently in a Porsche Taycan Turbo S. It's a car that I've liked for a long time, so gonna potentially look at maybe getting a new car today. This is all electric, and you guys are probably like, hey, that's not a car that Diesel Bros would drive, and you're right. I've never owned a sports car like for myself, like an exotic car, but and this is the Gran Turismo style, so it's actually got like the hatch on the back. It's like a glorified hatchback, but it is one of the best looking cars I've ever seen, and one of the best riding cars. 2022, I believe this one is, 2,000 miles on it, just a clean machine. And we're gonna take it for a rip here and see what I think. You can hear the engine noise. It's from a speaker. That's bad. That's like quarter throttle.
So, oh, are you guys looking at the Ferraris right there? Hold on, let me just.
Good amount of room.
You could put a lot of snatch blocks back here.
Yeah, a lot of snatch blocks.
A couple yanking ropes.
A couple toolboxes.
I think we just build a tube chassis back here.
12 seconds later.
Day number 4 of MD helicopter training. I've been flying pretty aggressively the last few days. Today I think we're gonna go up and do some more practice auto rotations. We're gonna do some run-on landings and just some more technical emergency procedures. While it is fun, it is also a lot of work up there because we're doing the same maneuver over and over and over again. So you do that for an hour, it'll wear on you. But I'm excited. I'm the last flight of the day. Everybody else is already gone, and then after this, we're gonna head over, pick up my new car.
All right, let's pull up into a hover, and then we'll do a hovering auto here to check the throttle rigging. All right, cool.
On day 4, we practiced emergency auto rotation landings all day long.
To a gentle flare, 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 flare. Just a little bit. And nice and gentle forward.
274, flying straight out, runway 4 right.
Just a little up on the click.
The reason they had us practice this maneuver so many times was so that it became a habit, a reflex. Became something that we didn't have to think about. We could just automatically do it if an emergency ever occurred.
All right, I'm not going to tell anybody else. I'm not going to tell anybody
You
else.
gonna tell the whole camera though?
Yeah, dude. I ain't telling nobody.
What he means to say is he was not instructing properly. And, somehow, some way, somebody turned the helicopter off before it was fully cool. Well, I just bought a Porsche. First sports car I've ever bought.
The next morning, we headed straight back to the MD headquarters at the airport for our final day of training, where we did a few more full-down autos, a few more practice maneuvers, and then we checked out some of the local scenery. The canyons, the terrain, the cactuses, everything out here is just absolutely insanely beautiful and one of my favorite places that I've ever flown.
Last flight, done. And it was a fun one. That was more just kind of a go out, get to know the helicopter a little bit more, check out the insanely beautiful scenery here down in Arizona. That's it for MD training. Next stop, snowy Salt Lake City.
I just want to send a huge shout out to MD Helicopters for having us down and giving us this whole factory training course. I also want to give a huge shout out to CJ and Parker, who were the pilots that were teaching us this week. Great pilots, great people, and an amazing experience overall.
Pretty cool. Now I know why people love them. That's all there's to say about it. It's just a little hot rod, for sure.
I feel like I need to hire you for my social media. Can I cut my sleeves off?
Sure.
Tie me a knot.
Everybody up in front.
Who's playing it? Yep, ready?
Here we go.
Woo!